Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we are jumping straight into something quite specific, pretty esoteric actually. We're exploring this core idea from the teachings of Grandmaster Waxira and the sacred Atlantean Brotherhood. It's this concept that if you align your thoughts really precisely with a divine template, you can get results that are, well, they call it more than human. So our mission today is pretty straightforward but deep. We want to meticulously look at these 8 specific divine qualities that supposedly make up this template. We need to define them, sure, but more importantly, figure out how, according to these sources, thinking these godlike thoughts actually shapes reality, how it transcends the everyday for someone initiated into this.
Yeah, and it's important right at the start, I think, to set the scene for you listening. The sources we're looking at, they describe a very ancient, very disciplined spiritual path. When they talk about transcending normal experience, this isn't, just thinking positively and hoping for the best. They're making a really specific, almost technical claim. Your internal monologue, your thoughts, are an active, creative force. And the mechanism they propose is this. If your thought energy is all over the place, limited by doubt, by human chaos, well, you get limited, chaotic human results. Makes sense, right? But if that energy is focused, if it's aligned specifically with their definition of God's divine qualities, that's order, harmony, power, wisdom, love, life, truth, and light, then you're supposedly tapping into an infinite source of creative juice. This alignment is essentially like tuning your mind, your whole being, to the universe's creative frequency. And that's what allows for manifestation beyond, normal biology or physics.
Yeah, that immediately brings up the blueprint question. If thoughts are the antenna, what frequency are we tuning to? These 8 qualities, they're presented as universal laws, the bedrock of existence. So let's really unpack these 8 pillars, or maybe the creative octet, as you called it before. We need to define each one and crucially detail the specific, tangible results the sources claim you can expect if you maintain that alignment.
Absolutely. We have to start with order. The sources are clear. God is the ultimate organizer of everything. Order is what gives structure, stability, allows energy and creation to flow properly. So when you align your thoughts with this divine order, the idea is you move past confusion, past inner chaos. You start to manifest clarity, internal structure, and importantly, a clear sense of purpose. And this is key. This structure, this order, it acts like a container for everything else. If your life has this divine order, your energy isn't just wasted on, conflicting desires or running in circles. And that allows for, they claim, measurably greater achievements, a focused path, success.
Okay. And order seems to lead naturally into the next one, harmony. Which sounds lovely, but it's defined quite specifically, isn't it? Not just getting along. It's about divine balance, the union of opposites.
Exactly. Harmony is where different forces, even ones that seem contradictory, exist in perfect equilibrium. It's dynamic balance. Aligning your thoughts here, they say, brings deep inner peace, integration. And critically, it smooths out your external world too, your relationships, your environment. It introduces balance where maybe there was friction before. It's like this constant correction mechanism, preventing that order we just talked about from becoming too rigid, too unfeeling.
Right. Order without harmony could be brittle. Okay. Now, let's tackle the one that probably feels the most, well, challenging for most people. Power. Divine power. They're very clear. This isn't about worldly influence or physical might. No, they describe it as the fundamental ability to create, to transform matter itself, to manifest directly from the heart of the universe, kind of bypassing physical means. Alignment here means your own subtle energy field starts vibrating at the universe's frequency, allowing this energy transfer they sometimes call thought-form crystallization. You're tapping a limitless source, basically, enabling things beyond normal human ability because you're using a totally different creative engine.
Which is precisely why the next quality, wisdom, is so critical. It acts as the governor for that power. Divine wisdom isn't just being smart or knowing lots of facts. It's described as a deep knowing of fundamental truths. It's less about having all the answers and more about having the clarity to ask the right questions, to discern the path. So if you align with wisdom, you unlock this ability to see truth clearly, separate it from illusion. This ensures that immense power you've tapped into is directed constructively toward your highest potential, aligned with the divine plan. Instead of, being wasted on fleeting ego stuff or becoming destructive, it stops power from running wild.
That makes perfect sense. It's a really elegant synthesis of the first 4. Order and harmony are the structure, power and wisdom are the dynamic tools. But I'm wondering, before we get to the last 4, the more maybe relational or manifesting ones, how do these first 4 actually work together? Do you need perfect order before you can even touch power, or is it simultaneous?
That's a great question. The sources depict them as mutually reinforcing, like different facets of the same diamond. You can't really achieve sustainable, genuine power without the order to structure it and the wisdom to guide it. For the Brotherhood, it seems they're really one single creative force, just broken down into these 8 aspects so we can focus our thoughts more easily. Think power without wisdom, you get destruction. Think order without harmony, you get rigidity, brittleness. They have to be integrated, they have to work together.
Okay, fascinating. Integrated. Let's hold that thought and move to the next set, starting with the one they call the essence of everything, love. Why is love positioned as this crucial binding agent, more central perhaps than even power or wisdom? Well, the texts explicitly state love is the energy that connects everything. It creates unity, connection across all scales. Alignment here means you, the individual, become like an energetic conduit for it, a vessel radiating pure compassion, understanding. And the result is transformative, but it seems primarily external. It actually changes the world around you by broadcasting kindness, unity. It neutralizes conflict by its very presence.
And that love, that environment of unity, sets the stage perfectly for the next 2, which are quite complementary. Life and truth. Let's take life first. God is presented as the source of all life, vibrant, endless, dynamic, always available. Aligning here means connecting your own being, physical, mental, spiritual, to that infinite wellspring. And this connection brings, well, exactly what you might hope. Deep vitality, radiant health, abundance, both spiritual and material. It's about realizing life isn't meant to be limited or constrained. It's meant to flow through you fully.
And that vitality flows into truth, the foundation, they say, for authentic living. Alignment here demands the initiate moves beyond illusions, societal conditioning, false personal beliefs, self-imposed limits. But here's a question that comes up for me. If the world we see reflects our inner world, as they say, how do they stop someone from just creating a really convincing, sophisticated illusion of truth that happens to justify whatever they want? How is this truth anchored? How do you know it's the truth, not just your truth?
That's a really critical point, and it actually loops us right back to the whole framework. The anchor is the other 7 qualities. Divine truth in this system isn't relative or subjective. It's based on those eternal, ordered laws of the cosmos we've been discussing. So if your manifestation, your truth, deviates from order or lacks harmony or isn't infused with love, then by their own definition, it's an illusion, no matter how much power you threw behind creating it. Alignment with truth is about achieving freedom and fulfillment because your inner world finally matches the universal, objective reality defined by those other qualities. The goal isn't arbitrary creation, it's authenticity, finding your real purpose within the larger divine plan.
Okay, that clarifies it. Truth is tested against the others. Good. So we wrap the 8 with light. This is described as the illuminating force, dispels darkness, reveals what's hidden. When your thoughts align with light, you essentially open yourself up to direct divine inspiration, sudden clarity, even visionary foresight. And it's like gaining a new lens, a lens of spiritual awareness that fundamentally shifts your perception. Like turning on spiritual floodlights. You suddenly see the connections and the path forward, things that were hidden in the shadows of the ordinary human mind.
So there we have it, the complete creative octet. We understand the blueprint, the 8 qualities, but as you pointed out earlier, a blueprint isn't much use without the tools and, more importantly, consistent action. How do the sources say we bridge that gap between just knowing about these principles and actually, living and breathing them to get those extraordinary results? They're very clear. Alignment needs constancy. It's not a part-time thing. You have to maintain a focus that resonates with all 8 qualities, ideally simultaneously in every moment. This isn't like a weekend workshop. It's presented as a continuous moment-by-moment dedication to filtering every thought, every decision through this divine lens, order, love, wisdom, all of it.
And Grandmaster Waxira really nails the application with that quote, "We should use it directly." The world you see is a reflection of the inner world you create through your thoughts. So for you listening, this means the second you think something that contradicts one of these qualities, like a thought of chaos instead of order, or maybe fear instead of love, you're introducing static, a distortion into the creative signal, and that limits the result.
Exactly. It puts the responsibility for reality creations squarely on your intentionality, your focus. And the manifestation examples they give reinforce this. Like, focusing intensely on divine love doesn't just make you feel good. They claim it fundamentally shifts the energy dynamic in your relationships. It almost compels others to harmonize with that frequency you're emitting. Or focusing on divine order when making decisions. It means applying that universal structure to your planning, your strategy. This doesn't just aim for temporary success, but meaningful success built on a foundation that theoretically can't easily crumble because it's aligned with cosmic law.
It's really interesting how they blend this intense individual focus with, well, institutional structure. They talk quite a bit about the role of spiritual rituals within the Brotherhood itself. Meditation, specific forms of focused prayer. And for someone listening, maybe operating in a high-stress modern world, the Brotherhood's use of rituals isn't just about being spiritual. It seems very pragmatic. It's the technique needed to quiet the noise, the chaos of the everyday human mind, so that the signal of divine order or love or wisdom can actually be received clearly and then manifested without distortion. It helps the initiate get beyond the usual mental limits into a state where these divine truths can surface more naturally.
That ritual element definitely helps stabilize the focus, yes. But there's one last ingredient. It's non-negotiable, really. The sources emphasize it again and again as the true engine-driving manifestation: faith. Faith is described almost like the permission slip that the logical, doubting human mind gives to the universe to allow these greater possibilities. It's critical for producing these more-than-human results because our everyday experience, our senses, constantly tell us about limitations, what's possible, what's not. Faith bypasses that.
So faith lets you see past the immediate stuff, the physical limitations, the bank balance, whatever, and hold on to the vision of that divine, limitless potential instead.
Precisely. And they actually use scripture to back this up, quoting Hebrews. Now, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. In this framework, faith isn't passive belief. It's an active mental energy. It's the construct that makes the unseen result real in the mind before it shows up materially. It's the commitment, the unwavering focus that keeps the alignment stable long enough for the manifestation to occur.
Wow. Again, that really ties the whole system together with a powerful, if demanding, bow. We started with this idea, align thought with the divine, and we've unpacked a complex 8-part framework complete with practical application through ritual and this essential psychological state of faith. So, to kind of synthesize this whole deep dive, these teachings from Waxira and the Brotherhood offer a detailed high-stakes method. It's about consciously steering your thoughts towards these 8 specific divine qualities: order, harmony, power, wisdom, love, life, truth, and light. And they present this not just as a good idea, but as the guaranteed path to achieving results that genuinely defy normal human limitations.
And the core message may be best summed up by Waxira's metaphor. Your thoughts are the bridge between the divine and the material. When you think godlike thoughts, you manifest godlike results. The universe isn't out there. It flows through you, but only if you maintain that specific high-frequency alignment.
It's a compelling philosophy. Demanding, yes, but compelling. The sources insist this power, this wisdom to create a life reflecting divine order, harmony, love. It's already latent within you. So the final thought for you to maybe mull over is this. If this creative octet truly defines the operating laws of reality, how does understanding these 8 principles, not just knowing them, but using them as a filter moment by moment, change how you approach your very next decision, your next conversation, or even just your own deepest inner dialogue, something to explore?